Alright guys, so for today's video, we're going to talk about the missing link for unprecedented growth. And more specifically, we're going to actually show you how to make an extra 50K per month in 90 days or less, leveraging an auto-converting funnel, okay? I'm also going to show you how a growth integrator, this is a new role that is going to be existing in the future, can manage this process from A to Z for you. Now, if you've been following the channel for a while, or you're just ready to go ahead and go. Link will be in the description. You can also get a complimentary implementation course by getting the document that will be found in the description. And before we dive into the meat and potatoes of the video, I want to actually show you some actual case studies and some proof that this stuff actually works and that we've done, okay? You can see here my client Nick Person, his strategy is to hit his first 100K month. Actually only wanted to come to visit me here in Costa Rica. Now my guy Ernie Johnson starting an appointment setting agency for coaches from scratch and scaled it past the 16K in the first 92 days after working together. You can see here an actual interview that I had with him. Case study 2, Mark Quaney scaled his coaching business for Christian entrepreneurs past the 10K per month mark in his first month, plus a 5K win in the first 48 hours after joining our program. Again, this is running what we call our low-hanging fruit campaigns. What's best is that this was in the validation phase, as you will see later on, completely organic through outbound prospecting, okay? Now you can see, again, the interview over there with the link that I'll be leaving in there. Case study number 3, Natasha from In-Purpose Projects, over $46,500 worth of pipeline built in the first 30 days, not in 90, but in the first 30 days, at a closing rate of 34%. You can actually go and see the interview on a podcast that I made with her, with a link that I'll be leaving over there. Now, you can see here also some conversation, some proof. Case study number 4, Stefanos from Logismiku launched cold email campaigns and added PepsiCo, Macy's, and Swiftly as clients working with us. The actual revenue numbers I don't know exactly because he didn't share with us, but I think that this was actually the last case study of them all, to be honest. Now, case study number 5, Lucas built a multi-six-figure remote setting company with insiders inside of coaching, education, / e-learning businesses, specifically on Instagram. You can see the actual testimony over there with the link that I will be leaving in the document. Case study number 6, Carlo improved his overall conversion mechanisms to now profitably scaling past the 20K per month mark with his business coaching offer in the Latin market. You can see the testimonial with the link that I will be leaving in the description. Case study number 7, Roy Mayer from Lifestyle Insiders launched a leverage consulting offer based in artificial intelligence implementation, MBA team building through our auto conversion funnel model to multiple 6 figures per year. You can actually see an interview I have with him over there with the link that you can see in there. Of course, I want to dive into the actual content right now so that I can be respectful of your time. Who is this for? This is for you if you're a marketing agency or B2B info business, either you're a coach, a consultant, or any sort of online advisor, and you spend multiple 4 or even 5 figures for courses, coaching programs, or even agencies, promising that work on their client acquisition infrastructures, but you still struggle to get clients. If that's you, ask for a refund first and then stick around. This is also for you if you're mentally screwed from listening to some YouTube or Twitter influencers selling you their BA placement offer, having to create 30 fake Instagram accounts, 10 Facebook bots, 20 LinkedIn and cold email automation softwares just to maybe book anywhere from 5 calls per week or something. But you're still doubting and thinking what the best client acquisition channel and platform for your niche or offer is, since you still don't have the result that you have been looking for. This is also for you if you've put together and installed the marketing strategy and sales process to acquire customers, but you're constantly doubting the model since traffic is always low, inconsistent, and you feel almost like giving up because this process is not working. This is for you if it doesn't matter what you do, it feels impossible to drive meaningful conversations with prospects that can actually pay for your service, or assuming that you are getting some lead flow here and there, your sales process and closing deals is a pain in the ass since you literally need to lower your prices to eventually close another bad client. This is for you if you haven't found adequate positioning, which actually equals your messaging plus your offer resonates towards solving a painful problem for a group of people, or struggle to communicate it effectively, okay? And this is through your marketing or sales process, meaning that you end up changing your offer every other week or even your niche altogether, expecting to see different results this time, which, spoiler alert, it never actually happens. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you've been in the marketing space for 1 month and you have not yet landed your first client, or if you've been trying to figure out this internal monitoring for 2 or 4 years without actually getting the result that you wanted. And you know that there has to be a better way that doesn't involve raw dogging cold outreach, dancing on TikTok, going after the same list that other people are going after, aka scraping databases, or going after the followers of your competitors or stealing other people's audiences to pinch just some pennies here and there, okay? And of course, you're tired of the organic outbound cannibalism, like managing an army of BAs and or appointment setters who for whatever reason happen to solve your appointment setting problem, or the complex and often inefficient paid traffic gamble to a BSL or webinar funnel gamble, okay? And most importantly, do you feel like there's just one missing link that you need to make sense out of everything that you have learned so far about outreach, ads, funnels, cold email, and you just want to finally break free from that, okay? Now, of course, this is not for everyone. If you believe that you have all of the knowledge and all of the answers to build the business that you've always dreamed of, especially since you bought all of the big courses out there and have binge watched a bunch of YouTube videos for years, but still struggle to have a profitable client acquisition strategy, then this is not for you. Or if you simply cannot sit down for 30 minutes or 1 hour or however long this video is going to take and pay attention to a video that has the potential to help you make millions of dollars in the future. If that's you, this might not be the right video for you, so you can just save up yourself some time and leave. Let's get straight into the content, okay? Now, let's talk about the state in the art of the online business space in 2023. Selling marketing services or high-ticket B2B coaching or consulting is slowly becoming mainstream. And since there is a low barrier of entry in these business opportunities, there is an unavoidable saturation that comes in hand with the rise of these opportunities, of course, and is highly aggravated by the fact that the entry point for everyone is typically just a few handful of influencers that make their students go after the same niche, selling the same offer, using the same scripts, okay? This means that now more than ever, aspiring agency owners and online advisors or educators or coaches, however you want to describe yourself, have a lack of context since they are blinded by their immediate source of information. Meaning that, for example, if you have been watching YouTube videos, chances are that you're in love with the SMMA YouTubers. If you're on Twitter, chances are that you are following Andrew Tate and now you are just a sucker for copywriting and growth partnering type of business offers. If you're on Facebook or Instagram most of your time, chances are that you are running some sort of coaching or consulting only education business because you have been following Sam Ovens, Ty Lopez, etc. Now, for context, let's see some trends in terms of the rise of the e-learning and education industry on the web compared to marketing agencies. As you can see, the red line that you see here corresponds to actual consulting. Consulting has been on a drop since 2004 when actually Google Trends started to track this data. You can see that it has been slowly decreasing and there has been a trend towards the e-learning industry altogether, okay? Meaning that anything that has to do with information, selling info products, selling anything that you have been able to do for yourself is slowly rising. And this is, of course, as you can see here, specifically on Google or on web search. You can see a source here. But I also wanted to notice the rise of the SMMA / marketing agency trend on YouTube specifically, right? Compared to consulting and e-learning. As you can see here, again, the actual consulting had a big drop around the 2017, around the 2017 mark. You can see the actual rise over here of e-learning, not so much as you can see now. Marketing agencies, and over here, I want you guys to look at the big trend towards SMMA. It's just starting to grow and it's going to continue growing month after month for, I would say, the next 2 to 3 years. You can see the source of information in here. Meaning that everybody is getting either into the e-learning or consulting industry or the marketing SMMA industry from the same pocket of people. Like everybody joins the industry from a select few of people that actually sold into their e-learning products so that they can actually come and sell always to the same niche, using the same offers, using the same trends, okay? Now, the amount of opportunities that exist and the overload of sources of truth all at once lead to inaction, confusion, and overall resentment from the people who give advice. What this means is that online courses and online integration opportunities sold by big influencers are giving always all the secrets, but there's no actual roadmap to hit revenue goals and actual business foundations. Meaning that we arrive to what we call parcels of knowledge or portions of knowledge. Meaning that, yeah, you have been watching either a lot of tweets, a lot of YouTube videos, whatever it may be, and you know that, for example, this is an arbitrary set of concepts that I'm just going to grab for the sake of the example, but you know my point. You need to learn about, let's say that you want to build a business, meaning that you need to learn about business positioning, you need to learn about traffic generation and marketing, you need to learn about sales process and closing, you need to learn about management and operations. Meaning that in theory, you know about all of these things, but if you lack a fundamental understanding on traffic generation and marketing in general, guess what? You might know this and might have knowledge in positioning and traffic generation, but because this is a bottleneck, it doesn't matter that you have all of the knowledge in sales processes and management and operations, because this little piece of information that you're lacking here is eternally going to keep you from actually improving on the next parts of the actual puzzle, okay? Unless you actually solve it and you get to know how it works, right? Bear in mind that this is not in terms of philosophical understanding on what positioning is, for example. This is in terms of executing on one of the possible manifestations of every pillar of building a business, because that's the example that I'm giving. Meaning that so far, if you wanted to build a business, you cannot do it because you lack a portion of knowledge needed to actually run the business, okay? Now, all of this leads to stock marketers. They need organized information and, most importantly, an implementation roadmap to understand what to focus on, when, and how much time to spend on each task depending on their specific, most urgent bottleneck, instead of mental fapping watching YouTube videos on scripts on how to do Instagram outreach to book sales, okay? On top of that, even more important than this also is the fact that there is a lesson that we can learn from all of the gurus that have sold us into their business opportunity. And it is that regardless of what niche you're going after, markets are reaching a point of sophistication where the only advantage that you can have over your competitors is simply the strength of your marketing, which will only get you so far, and the reach of your content, which is eternal, okay? Don't go are the days of purchasing decisions being done strictly on a transactional basis, and we're transitioning more towards a world of representation, meaning that the reason why people buy from others is not only because of the marketing message and the sales process that you're going through, but also because of the person they're transacting with, okay? And this is going to be really important. I want you to keep this in mind once we go to the actual models that I'm going to show you how to build for yourself. That's why trends such as the one-person business, the phoneless closing, etc., is slowly starting to become the new mainstream, because it allows people to actually exploit their own uniqueness inside of social media. You live completely from that without the need of having big teams, lots of calls every single day to make other people send them money, since prospects don't need to open sales calls in order to buy their products, which is great for the Iman Gatsis, the Hermosis, and the Gary V's, etc. But think about it, guys. What happens to the rest of us? You might be thinking that you came too late to the party, and that all of the chances are already taken, and that they can only make that, or that they can only make this business thing work out because they have a big audience. And I understand that, because I also wish I had started sooner. But hear me out, guys. There's still a way out, and I want to share that in this video. I mean, what I want to say is that you can build a 100K per month business with savage profit margins that runs off of commission-based remote operator, as long as you leverage micro VSLs and hybrid conversion farms, okay? And what's best is that the application of this model not only will it get you to this outcome, that is what you're going after right now, it will also put you on the right track to build the audience that will allow you to reduce the need for marketing budget altogether, big teams, while allowing you to do every day what you love doing. However, most info marketers and agencies struggle to implement this because they are brainwashed into believing that organic outbound prospecting and selling their soul to a short-form content creation hamster wheel is the only way to sell high-ticket deals. Or maybe they simply like foundational advertising skills to actually use capital to grow their business, aka run ads at a profit. And to this day, we're the only company who has discovered a model that yields positive ROI on a very specific type of content, which is micro VSLs, when paired up together with a predictable conversion model, which is auto-converting funnels, that not only yields a positive ROI, but that is platform agnostic, meaning that it works in any niche and that makes competition irrelevant when applied correctly. Okay, guys? Now, an intro. My name is Enrique Aquiles. I studied law in the 5th best ranked university in Latin America and got a scholarship to study abroad in European universities and got involved in the following research centers. As you can see here, I just found later on a better opportunity in business and, well, I basically dropped out, but yeah, this is my credentials. Now, you can, of course, follow me on Instagram, subscribe to me on my YouTube channel. That's where I drop most of my knowledge. And this is my track record so far, by the way. From 2020 to 2021, I started my first low six-figure consulting business, helping other service providers book more meetings through outbound prospecting. I call this the do-it-yourself/done-with-you period of my career. At this stage, getting clients and delivering results was honestly really simple. But the bottleneck with relying on organic traction and outbound prospecting is that it's slow, really slow, guys, and oftentimes ineffective. So it didn't sit well to simply sell clients on the consulting service, mostly since they needed to validate their offers organically, post content more on other people's communities, and go after competitors' followers who were already marketed and sold on their offers, making them and us at that time be literal simps. Okay, so I decided to do something more for you, and I want to make some note here before we continue. Organic validation is a great way to do precisely that. Validate your offer and see the market gaps that exist out there. But you will see that the moment you uncover product to market fit, there's no way to predictably scale up from there organically, unless you have a big brand or you have an army of prospectors, which is super hard to manage in the first place. Now, from 2021 to 2022, I built a cold email enabling automation lead generation agency for B2B SaaS and tech companies. The name was SaaSquest. And we were able to help more than 17 active customers at that time while still managing SDRs and sales team for these companies, okay? This is a done for you period of my career where all of my work and all of what I did was living for the clients and literally learned important management skills to keep up with the client's work. Now, realistically, this was a great model to keep recurring revenue coming in. The team was really lean and we were able to maintain high profits. But the problem was that since we were seen as an outside agency, it was helping out on the marketing piece part of the equation since we were more on the sales department, talking with the head of sales, account executives, etc. It was always really bureaucratic and more often than not a waste of time to actually trying to talk with the people in marketing. Here's where I learned the interdependence of marketing and sales and the need to integrate a single model that allows them to communicate effectively. This is, and you will see it later on, marketing and sales all together. Now, from 2023 onwards, I started building Royal. And this is an agency/consulting hybrid model. And the system that you'll be learning in this document is the exact system I used to build after deciding to find a superior way to get clients without relying on call up on prospects and managing big and effective teams without breaking the bank, figuring out the messaging of the typical BSL/webinar funnel while still having a fun business to run, okay? So the best way I can describe this model and the best way I want to go around this is by actually sharing with you guys our simple, no guesswork, 5 steps to 50K per month. The first thing that you need to achieve in order to hit this revenue goal is what we call diagnosing the market situation to develop sales messaging and offer alignment, or FPP. FPP means foundational promise and positioning, by the way. So for the longest time, strong internet entrepreneurs investing into programs where they either get generic advice on how to do market research, thinking that a client avatar and an I help statement in their bio will cut it, or they get told of who to sell, what to sell, and how to sell it, being a commodity from the get-go. AKA, they're just one more in the crowd because there is no critical thinking on the part of the founder. And of course, naturally, this means that the entrepreneur behind the business is fundamentally enabled to understand both the current environment in their target niche and the existing mechanisms, aka competitors, solving the addressable problems. Meaning that there's no insider's perspective or language that communicates your business solution to the problems of the niche. And why is this important? Because I know that it might sound like super technical, whatever it might be, but in reality, this is really important because at a high level, even if this doesn't seem so impactful, at the end of the day, chances are that you really don't care too much about gyms, if that's what you're going after, chiropractors, if that's what you're going after, SMMAs, if that's what you're going after. You just want to make some money, of course. And the reality is that you lack this industry knowledge. That means that your content will not resonate, your outreach efforts are not going to get replies, and nothing will ever work as well as it could if you were to actually understand the market, right? All of which leads to the inability to create a strong market promise that's relevant and unique, while developing the right wording to communicate this all together to the target audience. So what we've learned through countless iterations and helping dozens of people solve the problem is that your sales messaging, not your offer, makes competition irrelevant. And I want to repeat that again. Your sales messaging, not your offer, makes competition irrelevant. Because most people struggle to book calls and get clients because their entire business is modeled after a copy-paste content, offers, and niches, meaning that even if you have all of the traffic in the world, you'll never be able to compare it to actual cash if you're selling a commodity and or don't have a unique touch to the service that you're providing, okay? That's why instead, we need to narrow down our focus on identifying the solvable market holes based on marketing propositions and come up with foundational PP, meaning that you build your foundational promise and positioning instead of building an offer, which actually allows you to solve painful and urgent problems that this target audience or this niche is going to be willing to pay thousands of dollars for, while allowing us to communicate our business value in a way that is not only clear and desirable, but also fresh. And that's a key. And that's a word that nobody actually understands, but you need to actually communicate something in a way that's fresh, that actually cuts through the noise of your industry, while giving us the speed to come up with claims, marketing angles, etc., before we spend weeks, months, and in some cases even years building an offer just to hear crickets once it goes live, okay? So that's why this is so important. And I want to make some notes on the rise of irresistible offers that are hard to sell, because since others are mostly started to blow up in social media, everyone plus their dog has an irresistible offer. Funny enough, even people who have these offers, aka irresistible offers, are still struggling to book meetings and getting real prospects to buy. And guess what, guys? It doesn't take a genius to understand that the problem then is not the offer. is the actual communication of the offer to the group of people it's meant to be presented to. The offer is fully communicated on your sales call or your conversion mechanism. Meaning that if you're struggling to book meetings in the first place, you can have the best offer on the planet, but no one will be able to know that it even exists in the first place. That's why you need to focus on your sales messaging to guarantee traction, so that then you can align the offer to that messaging that actually got traction, and now that the market is actually going to respond to, okay? Because here's how it looks like. You actually need to develop your FPP and your sales messaging so that it actually generates the meeting. There's actually resonance on part of the market so that you can then generate the meeting, the sales. And then guess what? The moment where you're actually going to be able to present your offer is once you have your sales together, you're going to build rapport with your prospect, you're going to discover their current state, you're going to actually know what their desired state, and then you're going to make your pitch. That's where you actually describe and communicate your irresistible offer. If this was well done, you're not going to have an objection and you're going to close. If you don't actually have this part in place, guess what? You're not going to close. Now, since you're generating meetings, that irresistible offer, for you to actually be irresistible, is not what warranties you're using, is not what deliverables you're using, what features you're adding. It's about how aligned it is to the actual sales messaging that generated the meeting in the first place. Hopefully that makes sense, okay? Now, before I actually understood that, my typical week looks something like this. Basically, nothing in my calendar, no calls, stress, always trying to see what my competitors did to keep up with the trends, never truly getting ahead, aka playing their game instead of mine. And after I understood that, my typical week, look at this guys, it's like 4, 5, 6 calls per day. Nowadays it's more calls than I could even take by myself. And this is actually organically, no marketing product was deployed at this stage yet when I took this screenshot. Playing my own games is where a category of one. And even trying to add more friction to a lead generating process, since there's just too much interest in the marketplace on our offer, so that we need to actually prioritize the hottest leads. Once this part is done, the second thing that you need to do in order to get to the outcome is you need to validate your FPP through outbound prospecting specifically, okay? While optimizing front-end offer and back-end delivery mechanisms for scale once we prime on the later steps, okay? Here's the thing, guys. Most B2B companies in the education or marketing sector aim to validate their offer by asking the target audience, the niche, and their family, their thoughts on the sales messaging and the foundational position, which naturally leads to poor closing rates, poor overall messaging, and overall not even booking enough calls in their calendars, and there's no market risk. They are not getting as many clients as they'd like. What needs to be understood is that the only way to validate your foundational positioning and promise and their overall offer for that sake is by actually selling that thing to the market at a high price. And the reason why this initial benchmark should be done specifically through outbound prospecting is because it's low risk, less expensive, or free. Meaning that you can get outside, do some field work, and rapidly get market feedback and do necessary iterations really quick, okay? So the rule of thumb is that a good offer that is paired up with the right messaging is going to yield high conversions and makes client acquisition easy. So if you feel like you have an irresistible offer, but you struggle to get as many clients as you'd like, chances are that it's simply not as irresistible as you think. Once you get the part right, you will start seeing plus 22, plus 25, even in some cases, plus 30% reply rates on your cold prospecting campaigns. Okay, guys? So this is an actual screenshot on one campaign of ours, 3,900 emails sent, in which we got 22.4 reply rates. Okay? Think about it, guys. Imagine that you go and ask your family, friends, and peers about your offer. Everybody is going to say yes to it because they care about you, they care about your feelings. But in reality, business doesn't care about your feelings. You need to literally make the market give you the answers, since they're going to be the ones paying the business for years on end. And guess what's the best way for you to get market feedback in actual resonance of the market? Is by actually selling that darn thing, okay? So I want to make some notes on how to make outbound prospecting work, because this is a really part of that process. Effective prospecting comes down to syndication of quantity and quality, okay? And we actually have developed our signature model to maximize the efficiency of this process. I want to leave here some videos on our appointment setting model explained and how to actually do prospecting in social media. But the process basically relies on this model that you're going to be seeing here on the screen, okay? You want to have BAs or software in this initial phase only, okay? Just in this initial phase where you validate the offer and you basically have no cash flow coming in from the business, you want to have a BA or software sending a volume approach to your target audience. Most of the DM/email angles are going to be offering your micro VSLs, more on that later. So response is always high. Well, you focus on managing the warm replies in your ebooks to see the response of the market to your foundational positioning and sales messaging. And this is really important because you're going to immediately going to see what they are saying to your micro via sales. Why are they replying? What are their problems? And then you want to hop on calls with them so that you can actually sell their thing. You know that your argument is hitting a nerve when you start booking 2 to 4 calls for every 100 DMs that you send. That's when you can move to a next step and fuel the fire, okay? I also touched here some message examples our BAs used when we were validating our foundational positioning and promise, plus an SOP pitch, just as here. Basically, the prospecting SOP and how to do the actual angles that we used in this case for Twitter, but you can do the same for Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever it may be. And you also want to use this lead tracker CRM to keep track of your leads while you validate your foundational positioning through outbound prospecting. Here's the master CRM. As you can see here, you can have your foundational sales letters, your micro VSLs, a main lead magnet in case that you have one, different social media platforms, etc. Here is basically the way it works. You basically come up with some micro VSLs according to your offer, okay, according to the market research you do. Then you validate the offer by having BAs and software, doing volume approach, sending 100 to 150 DMs to call prospects every single day. Once somebody responds positively, you add them to a CRM, and then you can focus on doing personalized setting with the warm replies and aim to book calls with them, okay? So KPIs in terms of this would be set 100 DMs per day. You want to have at least 10 to 15 warm replies. Out of those 10 to 15 warm replies, you basically book a call with 2 to 4. This is how the actual structure looks like. Okay, guys? This new way to solve the validation problem results in not only an improved confidence in your foundational positioning, since, of course, you know that there is a market for people right now willing to buy your offer, but most importantly, now that you make sales, now you have capital to fulfill your client results and fuel the growth of your business through a marketing protocol. So basically what this means, guys, is that you're able to optimize the front-end offer in terms of being able to sell it with ease, while maintaining and building the systems to sustain a back-end delivery mechanism for scale. Okay, guys? This is a picture that illustrates my point perfectly. Imagine that you put a fire to an extinguished campfire like the one you're seeing here. AKA, you have a business, but you don't have clients. Nothing is going to happen. In order to scale, your foundation needs to be active with fire already, even if it's just small, so that then through your marketing augmentation, you can go after the entire fire. So once you have a little bit of a spark in here, aka some cash flow coming in from those values that through outbound prospecting, you start putting fuel to the fire, and you go after the entire fire from there, okay? Their step is precisely that, fuel the fire with auto-converting fire. As soon as you validate your FVB, generate initial capital, is scaling time. Most people do everything wrong, and this is what they do. They either do more of what worked in the past, aka they start relying on a bunch of software, massive tools to scale outreach, and it's a never-ending hamster wheel where the faster you run, the harder it gets. This is the problem of the unscalability of outreach, and it is that it works at the beginning, but the more you grow, the bigger is the headache, which naturally results in an absurd amount of stress, lower and lower results for the lack of leadership and self-team management skills that now need to be developed to actually keep up with the volume and the actual quality that was needed in the past. And never having true compounding effects from their actions. And this is huge, because if you're just relying on cold prospecting, you're always having a one-to-one engagement between your prospects and your business, okay? This is the first way they are around it. Or the second way is that maybe they play the influencer game and they start telling themselves that they're building an omnipresent approach to content creation to get more traffic, when in reality they're becoming a slave to the likes and engagement competitions, since now their daily priority is to get cheap eyeballs to like their TikToks. Plus maybe some hungry comments here and there from the opposite sex, okay? Over here, you end up distracted from the main thing, which should be client results and scaling your business, and you actually start losing respect from the higher end of the market, since it's obvious that you're just building a business to dance on TikTok, okay? That's the problem, okay? The best way I can sum this up is with a quote that I made, and it is that one day that you stop dancing and you lose your business. This is, by the way, the typical SMMA owner nowadays. Now, regardless of what your thoughts are on organic business paid, the fact of the matter is that you need to have a strategy to actually bring fresh and new eyeballs to your world, whether it's one way or the other, aka organic or paid. Like, you need to put in a strategy. If you want to scale, you need more eyeballs to actually sell, okay? And you can either do paid or organic. Let's break down which one could be better at this stage. Okay, by this point, some people will sell you ads and funnels, a world of its own. Other people will sell you on the content game, which is as low as fuck and hard to stand out when you're literally competing against Victoria's Secret's models for attention span of social media users. Other people will sell you on the DM game via cold outbound, which hopefully gives scalability of the business that we discussed earlier. And I want to break down each model so you can see for yourself what actually happens at every single stage of the journey, okay? Let's see a sales process when relying on outbound prospecting to scale your business. Basically, you trade time and calories for money, and it never actually comes. So basically, prior to you get a lead or a prospect, so tons of time and units of energy employed, consistently joining Facebook groups, finding more niche down influencers to steal the leads from, management of VAs, setters, consistent scraping with the leads, and it's basically a mess, okay? So to get the prospect, you have to get it to reply, you have conversation, more conversation, and then you work on, okay? This is a one-on-one interaction, remember guys. And this comes, remember, these leads come from either a competitor's follower list, so it's not only cold, but it's already being marketed by them, by the actual influencer or by the competitor that you're grabbing from, or the database. So everybody reaches out to this exact same person, okay guys? This is the problem with this type of work. Now let's take a look over at the sales process when you land ads to the typical BSL/webinar funnel. Basically, you trade money for money at a high rate. What this means is that you run paid traffic, as you can see here, to get your leads, right? And what happens is that you have them see a video, right? A BSL, a video or a webinar or whatever it is, and a percentage of them is going to book a call and buy from you, okay? This is more leveraged since you can now talk to everyone on a one-to-many type of interaction. But look at the problem with this more, guys. The problem is that you need to have that messaging on point. Otherwise, you would burn through the ad spend. And not only that, you cannot save your leads on a place where you can engage with them. And yes, you can add opt-ins for them to see the DSL, but you reduce the amount of viewers since less people are actually going to end up opting in, meaning that you get less return on your ad spend. And they only give you their email or your phone, meaning that conversions are lower than those vehicles. Am I talking trash about this model or the other one? No, both can work. The model works really well if your messaging is on point and you want to operate a more complex sales team to call the opt-ins and maintain email marketing campaigns frequently going for yourself, okay? The other option, we have augmented effect here, we have paid traffic here, we have content here. So this is a sales process where you rely on content. It's like you're running on a torch, okay? 1 month doesn't happen, 6 months nothing happens, 1 year nothing happens, 2 years nothing happens, 3 years and boom, you start making a lot of money, everything clicks all at once, basically. Now the problem is that in this 2, 3, in this year, these 2 years, these 3 years, or whatever time it takes, you need to pay rep, you need to buy food, and you need to buy shit, right? So of course you're gonna rely on just getting to this stage so that you can make some money. That's the product, okay? The key then is not on the ads or the content or the ability to have one-on-one conversation with your leads. Is it actually being able to do everything into a simpler, targeted, and scalable funnel that is platform agnostic and that sells for you 24/7 on autopilot? This is what we call an auto-converting funnel. Basically focus and optimize the shit out of that funnel and that's it, okay? This is what that funnel looks like. I know that it looks like a robot, but let me explain. You basically have organic traffic that compounds and paid ads or paid traffic that is fast, okay? You send all of that traffic to your auto-converting funnel. That different from the BSL funnel that was just a video, the auto-converting funnel is a place. It's either your profile on one social media platform or a gathering place like a Facebook group or a school community or Discord, okay? That's the magic, guys, because you're leveraging content and ads to send them to a place where you can now target them and it's scalable because you can run the ads to it. But this is where the magic happens. The magic doesn't happen in you getting more followers or growing your gathering place or whatever it may be. It comes from the fact that now that these people are targeted and they are now on your auto-converting funnel, you can have one-on-one conversations with them so that, yeah, you run your ads, one-to-many mode. They become followers, group joins, Instagram followers, TikTok followers, whatever it might be. And then from the one-on-one conversation that you have with them, it's easy to identify their specific pain points. That's how we solve the problem of the BSL funnel. Because now we can redirect them to a specific content that solves the specific problems that they're having through the micro VSLs that we are going to keep building on a weekly cadence, okay? And this, not only conversion go through the roof because you have one-on-one conversations so that you can, of course, interact more with them. You can also engage with them. They're going to engage as part of your community or engage in your content. They're going to be seeing your stories. They're going to see your content. They're going to see your guides. You're going to be able to showcase personality, meaning that you get more separated from your competition, okay? And from here, you can book them on a call and make them buy. And in case that they don't, you can always just refer back to more content that you keep them always on a safe place, not only on an email list that nobody actually sees, okay? So this is how it looks like. You basically combine DMs with organic content with paid traffic. So it's the best of everything. So no more dozens of KPIs to keep track and of landing page conversions, split tests, etc. Here's the framework in a nutshell. Again, you run paid traffic, organic traffic, and you get either a new member or a new follower or a new subscriber. You tag them on the introductory post or welcome post that we like to call them, where that post specifically is meant to send people to your guides or your micro VSLs. You let them know that you DM them, what to do from there, and you then ask them to go and watch your content on YouTube. So they start the auto conversion process going by themselves. You start having conversations with them one-on-one. In case they are qualified and they are basically hot leads, you will call with them or sell them at the end, depending on where we're best for you at the moment. Or you simply redirect them to more content that is specific to them, and they keep selling for themselves so that they buy later on. That's how it looks like. On top of that, you start having more opportunity channels, because it's not just on a BSL funnel that you send them on through a drip campaign and they book automatically, but every time that they comment on your post, every time that they like, you can reach out to them again. You can reach out to them after a few months. They can put a call automatically on your call to actions, on your stories, or your content, whatever it might be. So conversions, again, are going to go through the roof. That's why the new way to scale your business, avoiding mess and complexity, is achieved by installing a hybrid model that leverages paid ads and cold traffic to get a flow of new eyeballs into your world every day, and that you can control alongside a middle of funnel long-form belief-shaking YouTube content strategy that moves leads towards the sale, which comes either on autopilot, completely done by the lead, or by a simple one-on-one conversation, as we just saw over here, okay? And the execution of this model goes something like this. You can have as many eyeballs as you like via paid traffic, and whenever you want on autopilot, okay, by the paid traffic, your YouTube content, that redistribution that we're going to see in a second, nurtures the prospect and does the selling for you 24/7, and you can easily identify your hottest leads to have a one-on-one conversation with them on your auto conversion funnel, typically on a Facebook group or Instagram profile, but there are other platforms you can use if you have leverage in them, and since this is platform agnostic. And let me just do a demo. Like this is where we have our leverage. We use a Facebook group, but I want to show you the Facebook group example, and then we'll show you an Instagram account. Okay? So we basically send all of our traffic towards joining our Facebook group, okay? Organic and paid. Meaning that once they join the group, guess what? They can get access to all of the guide section, basically my masteries of all their ebooks, etc., etc., etc. But not only that, every time that I post a YouTube video, as you can see here, boom, I post inside of the community. Meaning that every time that I post, they get reminded of me. Way more powerful than simply running email campaigns. And the reason why is because you can see here, this is a post that I made 2 days ago. It reached 154 people. Now, if I wanted to save this as a guide, but I honestly don't really use the guides that much, every time anybody on the group comments or likes the post, it goes back to the top, to the bottom. So it automatically nurtures the newest leads, even from the content you've made 1 year, 2 years ago, okay? Now, in terms of the introductory post, look at this, guys. Every time someone joins, you can have call to actions and next steps for people on literally a very brief post where you can just tag the new member, the new group join in this case, and they're going to know what to do. They're going to have better steps, and they're going to start buying into my solution on autopilot without me need to move a finger. Right, guys, and let's see now the case, for example, on Instagram. Similar to Facebook, what you're going to do, again, we really don't use Instagram for the sake of this strategy, but all you gotta do is basically have an introductory post, habilitate the guide section, which would be like your highlights. There is an actual guide section that you can have. I don't have it enabled, but it actually allows you to have literal guides that you can just tag your one-on-one conversations prospects over there so they can start consuming that content for you. But again, you basically every single day you tag the new followers that you got, boom, all of them on the same post. You tell them, hey, just send your DM, check your in. So they're going to reply to your initial DM, and from there you book them on a call. If they're qualified, in case that they're not, you basically see what are their inefficiencies, their problems, their biggest struggles, and then you basically send them the micro VSOs that are appropriate for their situation. That way they get the auto conversion process. And this process basically can apply for every other platform. You can do the same on Twitter. You can do the same on, look at this, you can do the same on LinkedIn. Okay, actually LinkedIn works really well, but I mean, who likes to spend time on LinkedIn, honestly? It's best, you can have here your different guides, your YouTube channel, every single that you post their content is the same idea. Is you basically build this funnel where every time that you post, everybody knows, everybody gets reminded of you. You can have one-on-one conversations. They can see and be sold by their own. and that makes conversions much more powerful, okay? And I want to briefly touch on the role of YouTube content in the auto conversion funnel, because an automated content engine is the biggest point of leverage your business can have, and this not only supports awareness and brings fresh new elbows to your offer organically, on top of the ones that you're going to be paying ads for, which naturally compounds over time, aka the top of the funnel, here, awareness, but also sales, indoctrinates, and change the beliefs to your leads 24/7 without you needing to do anything for you, middle of the funnel, which is the nurturing part that you see here, but also, and most importantly, when done correctly, promotes a seamless sales process, aka the bottom conversion, bottom of the funnel, all of this on autopilot. And it's actually going in two ways. The actual YouTube videos that you send everybody to, of course, generate the awareness over here, like on the actual thumbnails and what people see in search. Then the actual, if somebody spends with you on a 30, 40, 50-minute videos like YouTube allows you to do, they're going to build a lot of more trust with you, aka adds more to the selling part of the equation. But also because the YouTube, whenever these people start watching content by themselves, it will get to a point where they're going to say, you know what, fuck it, man, like I have been watching this guy, I just love his content. And then they're going to go to the links in the description of the videos, and guess what? They're going to book calls with you. So YouTube does the same for you 24/7 on autopilot. It's super easy, and that's why it's the most powerful type of engine that you can do. So that's the role of YouTube content in the auto conversion funnel, okay? Before I started creating and repurposing my YouTube content in social media, booking calls was hard, bringing fresh new leads to the market was hard, and closing deals was really hard, and client retention overall was really hard, but now it's not. And you can see here with a channel, this was a screenshot I took when I had like 550 subscribers. You can see here the amount of impressions that I was having on a monthly basis. 49, let's say 50,000 impressions, 4,100 views, guys, with a 550 subscribers. You see, like it doesn't make sense the amount of power that you can have. And look at this, guys. It's incredible the amount of power that this can have organically, by the way. This is organic. And the best part is that the 1 to 2 pieces of content that you create on YouTube can easily be repurposed natively inside of your auto conversion funnel, meaning that you don't have to be spending a lot of time growing on other platforms, because all you gotta do is focus on creating 1 to 2 YouTube videos per week. And what you do is repurpose that content to your funnel, basically, okay? An example below. Again, YouTube is top priority. Let's say that the written documents that you do, like the one that you're seeing right now on the screen, this one, you can create a Twitter post out of it. You can make posts on LinkedIn. You can make posts on Facebook. You can do posts on Instagram, plus stories. You can draw an email blast to send into the document. The video that you're using, the one that you're seeing right now, you can post those on Instagram. You can post as a reel. You can repurpose to short form content. You can do the same on TikTok, whatever it might be. The audio, you can do a podcast. Guys, it's an infinite amount of return that you can have from every YouTube video that you put out. Not only in terms of conversions, sales, awareness, nurturing, everything, but also in terms of how you can grow on our social platforms, okay? I will also leave here a document on the actual repurposing flow that you can use, and the one that I have specifically been using on Twitter, okay? Twitter is my primary on top of Facebook, my auto-converting funnel, realistically, okay? You can see here in the last 28 days, guys, listen, 2 months ago, I had like 200 subscribers. In the last month alone, 434. A month after one again, like 430, whatever. You can see here the amount of visits to my profile, the amount of impressions, 201,000. Imagine if guys, it doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't make sense how powerful this is, okay? And the best part is that once you deploy and optimize the high-performing auto-conversion funnel, like we have been discussing over here so far, with a hybrid growth engine, both leveraging paid and organic traffic, you can recruit a marketing specialist or inbound appointment setter that manages the model on your behalf. Meaning that all you gotta do is take the sales calls or hiring a closer if you wanted to, or you will see who in a second, and focus on delivering results and creating more content. That's literally all you gotta do by this stage. Okay, it's really that is the fourth stage. Now that you have optimized this funnel over here, is you recruit an end-to-end commission-based operator. Okay, and most people get stuck at the 20K per month mark because of one of the following reasons. They simply don't have a good amount of traffic coming in, either organic or paid. So there's literally no one to sell to. You're always limited to the amount of messages you can send to strangers if you're running ads. It's literally that simple as. Or they have a good amount of traffic coming in, either organic or paid. So they gotta decide between relying on email marketing and or relying on leads booking the call themselves manually, making it a win or lose show with their ad spend and overall traffic, typically on the BSL funnel, as we discussed just now, challenges, webinars, workshops, virtual dinner tables, whatever you want to call them, or having to manually convert all of that attention themselves, on top of keeping up with everything from their daily operation, content production, ads management, taking sales calls, etc. So they're limited by time and skills. What is the solution, guys? And of course, this model not only is capital inefficient on ad waste, as we like to say, opposed to ad spend, but it leads to less sales calls, less conversions, and overall, less money in your pockets, as we discussed previously. So if you've been following along, by this point, you now have a proven funnel that allows for one-on-one interaction between you and your leads. They're putting out great traffic to it so that it grows and gets more people, more eyeballs, that consistently pushes fresh content for them to see, and that makes them be the one consuming about your solution and chasing you, instead of you being the one going after them. And yes, a lot of people are going to book onto pilot, but there's a good chunk of leads that need an extra push for them to respond to your call to action. And that's where you need some extra labor to convert that attention to cash flow, okay? So this is the average sales output cycle using the output conversion funnel. Basically, you either get the impression, it could be via ad or organic, it doesn't matter. Basically, you get someone to join your auto conversion funnel as either as a follower, as a group join, whatever it may be. Then your micro VSLs and your content repurposing guidance do most of the heavy lifting towards the nurturing and selling of the prospect. Then through call to actions on your actual micro VSLs or some automation that you can run on email marketing, a lot of people can book a call and become customers. But you can see that these lines are a little bit thinner, and it is because then you can inject your growth integrators. For some people that have gone through everything, they can just do this initial push that they might be lacking for them to book a call and become customers, okay? So this is the model in a nutshell. The truth of the matter is that efficient teams that understand marketing and sales will convert attention for you and execute on the sales process with ease, as long as you have enough fresh traffic to support the daily operations. Hence why traffic augmentation through the hybrid approach, okay, paid ads to build traffic alongside organic awareness brought in YouTube and the repurposing channels from the actual channels that you're using, is the future. Not only will this lead to more calls booked, but your marketing view, aka your ad spend, is efficient, you'll experience higher conversion rates, more profit, etc. On top of that, you have more time to keep scaling the business since your marketing to conversion team is doing everything for you on autopilot. And we get it, of course, by this stage, everyone says, hey man, I want a commission-only appointment setter because they want to forget about the appointment setting part of the business, especially beginners, entrepreneurs, or people who skip the foundational positioning and promise part of business and struggle to book meetings. That's why it's important to initiate the marketing protocol prior to installing the remote team that you're going to see here. Because we need to have the little needed to sustain their efforts, and this is done exclusively by our organic and paid traffic. So that's why these steps are done like you're seeing right now. Now, this is not the same as a typical sales team versus marketing department dichotomy. Okay, these people, the growth integrators, understand marketing, sales, advertising, appointment setting, and content production, and are highly incentivized or fully aligned altogether to maintain your business's growth, since their compensation is dependent on your revenue growing up. So in the past, people have like their marketing department and their sales department. Like one is basically the opposite of the other. They don't talk between each other. When you bring an integrator to your business, this dichotomy no longer exists because this person understands both sales and marketing and is now able, basically as a marketing specialist, to convert that attention that you got through your paid traffic, to your content, to your organic traction, to cash connection. Okay, so it's from attention to cash connection. Okay, this is the role of the integrator, and this is why you shouldn't be bringing more setters, because setters are not going to, your appointment setters are not going to solve your appointment same product. What you need is actually specialists that know how to convert that attention to cash collection. The fifth part of the equation, the last one, is what we call black magic KPI, and this is basically the actual cash collection you get from your attention that you got via your marketing. Okay, and listen. Founders typically lack key leadership skills and don't understand business numbers, what leads to making daily operations rely on emotions and oftentimes never-ending daily sprints, all of which leads to daily stress, uncertainty in daily operations, and players not being able to perform at their best. So if you've ever hired a salesperson, an SDR, an appointment setter, a VA, etc., typically the hires simply don't work because of the lack of clarity, insecurity when executing daily tasks, or no idea on how to improve performance or how and where to ask for help. On top of that, the hires typically come from a simple feeling that the founder had to avoid a certain painful point, like having to book calls themselves, close calls, etc. instead of having a complete rolling like the one we broke down before, okay? But team management and business scaling doesn't have to be complicated. It's all about deploying a 3-step action flow that allows for team communication, reporting / accountability from marketing specialists specifically, and efficient daily operation through project management tools that rapidly results in complete clarity and focus points, adequate cadence of reporting / accountability system to track and hit KPIs / OKRs from the company to efficiently accomplish both the businesses and the founder's intention, okay? Even if we're building an efficient lean team of end-to-end sales / marketing specialists that are trained, we need to create an internal management convention that allows us to sustain scale, both in terms of communication, clarity of actions, priorities, and improvement points, okay? I have a video here on the suggested technology that I recommend you guys use, but essentially you use ClickUp project management, daily operations and fulfillment. You can integrate Google Sheets and spreadsheets to be managed internally of ClickUp, and Slack for communication. That's it. No 50 toolboxes, no 50 softwares for you to communicate, no 50 softwares and apps and whatever it may be, okay? Now, the magic KPI that we have to make sure that it's always working is attention generated and cash collect, period. Certainly, this is an oversimplification, but once you have a proven auto-converting funnel and you're integrated with some KPIs on top of the outbound leads that you get booking a call automatically, it's just about spending more and raising more attention through content, and that's it. You make more money, and that's how this overall system enters the game, okay? A small summary for you guys. So as you can see, the missing link for you to go and start getting mouth-watering profits while running a simple lean team goes like this. Step 1, you diagnose the current market conditions to come up with FPP. Step 2, you validate your insights through outbound prospecting to make sure that you're selling something that people will want to buy at a low cost. Step 3, now with capital in hand, you deploy a marketing model that allows you to attract, nurture, and convert leads using DMs or on autopilot if they book the call themselves. Step 4, with traffic coming in, you recruit an end-to-end marketing specialist that converts that traffic and attention to cash collection. And step 5, you manage daily operations through simple team management tools. And most importantly, you optimize for the black magic KPI. So guys, by this point, you might be asking, okay, what's next or what you can do from here? Pretty straightforward, guys. You can use your own strategies to do outreach. However, it would take a long time to get to the truth, since you have to develop your own method, not sure where or how to search, and chances are that you'll simply come up with a commoditized offer, or you can work with us and have one-on-one guidance on this research process to identify the highest leverage skill sets that you might have and angles to use to discover the higher end of the market that you can go after based on that skill sets and that leverage. On top of that, we help you come up with your foundational promise and positioning in a way that makes people excited to buy, reply to DMs, etc. Now, when it comes to the actual perspective, you can start doing outreach on your own, as you probably have already, sending cold DMs on social platforms, cold emails, cold calls, and struggle for months trying to find product market fit and fulfillment operations in the backend while keeping up with the outreach process, where most people give up and so their entire time. Because guys, listen, this process in itself can take up to 2 to 4 years if you're not having both the right strategy, the right channel, and the appropriate amount of volume. Or you can come up and work with us, and we show you the strategy we and our clients use to get 25 plus buyers from our campaigns that book 3 to 5 calls per day organically to move through this point and do the necessary iterations of positioning and fulfillment in 1/10 of the time. On top of that, get access to the best software and already trained BAs that we have in stock, already trained for you guys, to go past this phase as fast and as cheap as possible, so that you can then install the marketing protocol to scale to them, okay? You can see here some examples of campaigns, 22, 17, 40%. Show me a campaign that has 40% reply rates off of 84 emails that were sent. 31%, 20%, 23%, 15%. You can see here that this actually works and we're not making this up, okay? Since this is our signature model, it's literally ours and we're the only people on the planet that know how to run the auto-converting funnel, you can get lost in the world of advertising, probably use a lot of capital trying to scale your own traffic just to maybe convert this traffic since you didn't know how to take this fresh IO to a book call. And of course, if you start searching for solutions on the internet, you just find videos on the one-shot BSL funnels that are unforgiving and require you to have the right messaging not to the phone. Otherwise, you will be wearing through your money on nuts, okay? Remember, again, this is a word that is after 2 hours. We're the only people on earth that know how to do this, okay? Or you can get our ad training, templates, forms, and overall strategies according to your scaling criteria. And we showed you how to build your signature micro VSLs, which not only are more forgiving and can now allow you to have mouth-watering conversion from prospects who are coming your way instead of you going through their way, okay? Now, not only that, you can go and find, hire, train, manage a team of 6 appointment setters, 3 VAs, 2 closers, or most importantly, a couple of psychiatrists who don't understand advertising, sales, or marketing altogether to book calls your leads. And of course, struggle trying to make them hit KPIs while you slowly start going crazy, or just start working with us and get a single, fully trained remote integrator, not only a setter or a closer, who is a real end-to-end marketing specialist that works on a commission basis and can start converting that attention to cash collecting for you, okay? Not only that, you can have a team of 8 players in a C- operational infrastructure, making it hard to retain great talent and or probably breaking data operations at some point if you're not having the adequate leadership skills and alongside the project management understanding that is needed to run the team in the first place. Or you allow us to co-manage their marketing and sales campaigns, guarantee that you start hitting KPIs, guarantee that you start hitting the revenue goals, and receive our sales enhancement tools to keep bulletproof data operations. Again, this is for you only if you run a high-ticket B2B information business like a coach, consulting, e-learning, or a marketing agency but are still struggling to fill out your content and get predictable class on demand, okay? You can see here some of our other case stories. We actually have an entire document, just feel for that. You can come and see here, just a second, some of the other people that we've worked with, okay? Plus more case stories, more testimonials, you can see, boom, boom, boom. Some of the other people we've worked with, Greg Barza from Apex Labs, Mario Mesrovic and Matt Turagos from Pixion, Cody Benedetto and Ryan Serkis from Modern Launch, Pavel Zason from Triative, Matt Graham from Rapid Developers. These are some of the people that, some of our guys that would have helped amazing results. Okay, guys? So I want to now break down what are the benefits and outcomes that you can expect once you join Royalty. When you work with us, aside from immediately getting access to the course material and community, we'll hop on a one-on-one onboarding session where we're going to literally diagnose your specific situation and develop a custom-made roadmap for you. Okay? We understand that some of you might be starting to get your first client and figuring out the best model to start according to your skill set, while some of you guys might already be at the 15 to 20K per month mark, and focus, of course, is going to buy accordingly in case that you're there. So that's why we divide this process in 3 major milestones. You can be a Gani like Naruto, you can be a Shonen like Shikamaru, or you can be a Jonin like Akashi, okay? If you're a Gani, if you're a beginner, we focus on your sales messaging and offer aligned. And what this means is that we can hold you onto the market research process to create a compelling offer that's unique, fresh, and guaranteed to sell on a market once launched at a premium price. Even more important than the offer, as we discussed previously, we help you build your sales messaging through the implementation of our YouTube micro VSL model that will allow you to educate leads on your service, offer, and unique selling propositions. And this is done in our 2-hour-long offer creation workshop. This is literally where we sit I sit down one-on-one with you to craft your custom-made strategy. You can see here alone like the actual steps that we actually go through, what you gather the market research information that went from you, okay? But you can see that document. We help you create your sales pitch following information gathered from market research, allowing you to close at least a 20% closing rate, even without being an objection handling ninja. And we help you pick the best sales process, channel, and overall content strategy to optimize prior to launching outbound campaigns, okay? Remember, the goal here is to have you set up so that you can go to that tuning stage, and this is where we help you get to 0 to 10K per month. This is the organic validation phase. This second stage takes between 1 to 3 months, and sole purpose is to validate foundational position, okay? We need to move fast at this stage, especially since the goal is to handle a lot of unsustainable amount of volume to close deals, make sales, and grab the extra cash flow for marketing once we hit a founder with your foundational positioning after a few iterations. Once that's done, we pair you up with one of our $3 per hour BAs that do the heavy lifting for you on social platforms while you basically become an inbox manager for the warm leads, okay? And on top of that, we show you how to automate your outreach on LinkedIn and cold email specifically. That way, this part ends as soon as possible. Remember, the whole purpose of this part of the equation is to validate your FPP through outbound prospecting. Remember, this is while the offer is being validated. Once we book paid traffic, we can delegate the added inbound lead flow to a commission-based road integrator that handles everything for you, and you can say goodbye to VAs, okay? At this stage, you can start launching your auto-conversion funnel, but keep it to the organic growth that you get from your micro VSLs, the repurposing flow you get on social media. At this stage, the priority will be the one-to-one client acquisition models managed by their VAs in you, okay? And again, at this stage, you use the following tools and focus on the following support. Again, this process takes no more than 3 months. After a 3-month mark, And of course, I'm not saying that they're going to make 10K in 3 months. What I'm trying to make is that the longest time that is going to take you for you to make necessary iterations, for you to get organic validation, it will to be 3 months. Most people get it done in the first month of the launch campaigns. And once you get to the joining stage, which is all about scaling, which is from 10K months onwards, this is where magic happens, guys. Because here when the phone begins, you already have 10 to 20K cash saved to fuel the fire, okay? We'll help you run paid ads to your auto conversion funnel, depending on what platforms will work best for you. Typically, Facebook group raised on a profile where you maintain a regular content schedule, nurturing sequence. But of course, that depends as you guys use up. You get our ad templates, scripts, dedicated support on targeting, and we help you co-manage the tracking and KPIs to get at every stage of the journey. And this typically leads to an extra 25 to 70 inbound leads per week that are going after you from your paid traffic, organic content, hybrid model, plus the auto conversion funnel, okay? We'll pair you up with one of our commission-only growth integrators that converts this added traffic into pre-sold meetings so that you can just focus on what you love doing, knowing that the account is going to be full autopilot for you. And at this stage, you keep your learning schedule to simultaneously build a fan base of raving fans, nurture existing leads, and sell to the low-hanging fruit 24/7 on autopilot, okay? Now, what's the cost of joining Roy? Okay, guys. Since we were until that you have at least 50K or we will for free to do get there, we're not the cheapest option, of course. But that said, since we were primarily on a pay-on-results basis and there's a huge one-on-one investment on our end, meaning that we are so confident that we're going to get the results that we promise, we choose to work only with a select few people who are ready to invest in themselves and that we see that they have what it takes to scale up their business. That's why we take maximum 15 clients per month, okay? If that's not you, please just go and keep watching some of my free YouTube videos until you feel ready to get started. No hard feelings. Otherwise, if you feel ready to scale, just go ahead and book a call with my team. And the link is going to be here, guys, okay? I just want to address some of the frequently asked questions in case that maybe you have one of these. So let's go one after, okay? So how long does the program last? You get fully ramped up by the 3-month mark. Okay, by that point, is where you start launching your marketing protocols and you start onboarding commission-based integrators that can convert that attention to book calls and cash. But you get access to a private client community and complementary course material forever, okay? How many coaching calls per week? Right now, there are 2 coaching calls per week. We'll be adding more in the future. Still, most of the value of the service comes from the one-on-one help you get from me directly, plus a community of entrepreneurs that you get access to, plus a sales call and appointment setting audits that you can do at any time, okay? What if I can make it to the coaching calls? Well, calls are recorded in case that you couldn't make it. Can I just get a BA for outreach? Yes, you can actually just get a BA for outreach at a lower price and get access to a lower level of support so that you can start making some money and then invest into the main program, okay? So send me a DM on Instagram if that's your case. Just let me know like, hey, I just need a BA, so your video, etc. Okay? Do I need to have a BA for this to work? It's not mandatory, but unless you want to set 115 to 300 cold DMs every single day and you keep up with the replies while taking a sales call for yourself, on top of the cold email, LinkedIn automations, inbox management, we highly recommend that you have a BA, okay? Like literally just $300 per month, and that part is covered, you just manage the 1 replies, okay? But the organic validation phase is temporary while you make some money and consolidate your foundational position. Once you have cash flow, we transition to the scaling phase and you can get rid of your BA and change it to a growth integrator, okay? How much money do I have to pay for your BAs? Well, I answered that already. Like you can pay $200 per month plus $100 commission for any deal that you close through the referral, okay? Is this a course? No, we don't. We do have a course as a resource for you to start consuming and learning our strategies from the get-go, but the heavy lifting comes from our recruitment, consulting, coaching, and trader support, okay? How many YouTube videos should I record per week? Minimum 1, but we recommend 2 because you have a business to run. What if I don't know anything about ads, funnels, cost per acquisition, etc.? You don't need to know anything about this right now in order to get results. We showed you everything you need to know once you're inside, so no worries about it. And remember, we just focus on attention generated and cash collect, okay? Where is the auto-converting funnel hosted? This funnel is simply a centralized flow where you can have one-on-one interactions via DMs with your leads while you repurpose your YouTube content to constantly remind your leads about you, okay? Because of that reason, the best places to host your auto-converting funnel are either a Facebook group, your Instagram profiles, want to enable the guide section for broadcasting, or Discord. Of course, we showed you what works best according to your offer and what other iterations you can do accordingly. A general overview on the model tailored to a Facebook group funnel can be found in here, actually, okay? Come on, see the video. I don't understand what a growth integrator is. Well, differently from appointment setters, SDRs, MDRs, sales reps, etc., remote integrators understand that interdependence of sales and marketing. And this is why it is a plug-and-play growth partner who manages your sales and your marketing efforts at scale, okay? Meaning that a remote integrator's primary goal is to help business owners, in this case you, concentrate on high leverage tasks like by operating, not managing, but operating, you're the manager, the entire client acquisition process on your behalf, okay? Meaning that after you develop a proven auto-converting funnel, a sales presentation that can be used to actually replicate your sales process or closing, and micro VSLs that do most of the heavy lifting for you, these remote integrators can step in, handle all of the ad management, appointment setting, content planning, and selling. This last part, assuming that you already have a perfect pitch, sales again already closing up a 25% closing rate yourself. And this allows for a seamless flow of operations from lead generation to conversion, okay? So it's not a appointment setter, it's not a closer, and it's not a VA, okay? Now, is it a remote integrator or appointment setter? No, the remote integrator not only books calls for you, he can also help you write and redistribute your micro VSLs to generate even more attention, generate higher conversions, and even close deals on your behalf, okay? Where do we buy media runouts from? This depends on your funnel, okay? This depends where your auto-converting funnel is going to take place, your niche, and what parts of leverage you might have already. But we like to keep meta for cold traffic and everything else for remarketing or retargeting, okay? Most of the heavy lifting and conversion will come from your YouTube organic content and your growth integrators work anyways, okay? So no worries about it. And that's pretty straightforward. It's not like you need to record 50 ads every single week to make this work. What platforms should I use for outreach? This depends on your niche and points of leverage. We recommend everyone to run automatic cold email and follow-up sequences and send 100 to 500 cold DMs per day in the organic validation phase. Aside from that, your VA should focus on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, okay? This is the process you follow in the validation phase. There is another video that you can go and watch, okay? Do I need to train the VA for this to work? No, our VAs are already trained to perform on KPI from day one. What does it mean that you can manage our campaigns? This is actually a really good question. You only need to follow the instruction to make this process work for you. That said, we don't want to be intrusive in terms of doing the work, okay? All we ask for you is that you keep track of your KPIs and maintain full transparency as shown inside of the program. That way we will let you know what to focus on, what to change, and what content to create, what DMs to send, etc. That's what we mean by co-managing, okay? What if I don't have a YouTube channel? Well, very simple, guys. You want to create one. It's free, and this video is going to explain why you need one as soon as possible, so go and watch it. What if I don't like to be on camera and don't want to make video content? Then you're going to have a hard time selling. It's that simple. Listen to this, guys. I have a weird accent, and at the beginning of this, it was super painful for me to actually be on camera, but I'm glad I solved it, and I actually did it, because now everything is just way easier. Watch the video off to stop overthinking and do the work. Is this going to work for me? Yes, 100%. I'm sure you will if you put in the work. What if my target audience is not on YouTube? Okay, guys, everyone's on YouTube. YouTube videos are also channeled even on Google, the biggest search engine in the world. So you find a group of people for you. On top of that, remember, we use YouTube to get some organic traction and put more content out there. But we use YouTube to host a micro VSLs. And what you gotta do is through your auto-converting funnel. For example, if your auto-converting funnel is on LinkedIn or any other social media platform, the sales letters and the video sales letters can be repurposed in there. So no worries about your audience, as you were saying, not being on YouTube. So unless your niche is not on social media at all, this process will work, okay? What if I'm not sure what to sell and what niche to go after? We help you identify the best skills to leverage and identify market gaps to solve. We got you covered as a beginner, no worries. Big one, guys, it's time. Are paid ads still working today? Yes, paid ads are working now better than ever, and since algorithms have been developed in such a way that you're always going to be shown to the best type of people in Meta, Google/YouTube optimized conversions pretty much run on autopilot by themselves. Like nowadays, you don't even have to know about media buying so much because the actual platforms by themselves are doing much of the heavy lifting for you on autopilot, guys. So if someone is telling you that they aren't working, like if paid ads aren't working, it's because they simply don't know how to run them effectively, straight up. Or they want you to buy one of their VAs. And then this is like another question that I get asked a lot. Is like, then why Alex or most our influencers are going so hard on organic content or audience growth instead of paid ads? And that's the magic. Like, it's not that they just rely on organic growth. Everything depends on what your goals are. Alex Ramos has said thousands of times that he's running acquisition.com, all from email organic, since it's the only channel that he never truly exploited in the past and wanted to focus on that. But all of his businesses, which have been sold and exited, are running extremely from ads. You can actually see an example from this interview that he made over here, okay, where he literally says, hey, we use paid ads is the way to go. We just recently started to focus on inbound because I wanted to be able to influence our big. But on top of that, guys, not only him, but all of the big players in the space, Cole Gordon, Sam Ovens, Alex Becker, etc., are relying strictly on paid ads to scale their business. And what they do is they leverage the organic content, mostly YouTube, to nurture and raise the effectiveness of their ad spend, okay? And that's what you will learn working with us, of course. Now, what if this doesn't work? I've been in more programs and I haven't had results. This will work 100% of the time. This will only not work if you don't follow instructions or you give up altogether. We made it till the end of the video. Just go ahead and book a call. This is a link, or just go to the link in the description, or somewhere on this website you will going to find a button to book a call. That being said, guys, thank you for your time. I appreciate your attention. See you guys on the next one. Bye.